What's going on, listeners? Tonight's episode is going to be focusing on the sounds of the wild that have been attributed to the Sasquatch phenomenon. I hope you enjoy.
So my question for all the Bigfoot believers and skeptics alike is this. How do you reconcile the fact that literally every culture in the world today has legends and connections to the creature we often refer to as Bigfoot, dating back to the dawn of time? Is this just coincidence, or is it something more? Why do all the stories contain the same recurring descriptions and themes? Whether they call them Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, Yeren, Skunk Ape, Yowie, or some other name, the reports are all the same. From America to China, the Himalayas to Australia, literally every continent has the same phenomenon. Why do we see such similarities? How could this story permeate throughout the entire globe? Is there definitive proof of the existence of Bigfoot? That's what I'm on a mission to figure out. Join me as we uncover the stories, the evidences, and the unbelievable yet true events that have occurred all throughout the world. My goal is to turn skeptics into believers, and believers into knowers. I'm Riley Woolner, and welcome to the Bigfoot Legends and Connections podcast.
So for those who are just getting into the Bigfoot world, there's a kind of audio that is more or less reigns king as far as some of the best audio that has been attributed to the Bigfoot phenomenon. And it was recorded in the 70s by a couple guys named Ron Moorhead and Al Berry. And these were two cowboy kind of men who lived in California and would go hunting up in the Sierra Nevada mountain range. And these sounds have become extremely famous amongst those who are interested in the topic of Sasquatch, and they've come to be known as the Sierra Sounds. Now, these Sierra Sounds, like I said, were recorded by these couple of guys in the 70s, and so that should give a lot of people pause to wonder where some of these sounds could have come from, if not from the Bigfoot phenomenon, when during that time there wasn't much technology that could have been used to fake the sounds that you're about to hear. Now, they aren't the best of quality, because once again, these were made by amateurs in the 70s, but they had made this kind of camp up in the Sierra Mountains where they used sort of as a base camp when they would go hunting, and they started having strange phenomena occur, especially around nighttime in this camp. Not just the weird noises that they would hear, but they would have odd and strange things happen, which might sound more familiar to those who have already listened to a few of these episodes before. Glowing lights that would pop in and out of between the trees. They would hear the sounds of their camp being torn apart and come out and hoping to see who the culprits were, and realize that there weren't anyone there, and there wasn't any trash around the camp. It was completely normal, and it was just strange for them to hear a sound that wasn't really occurring. They would also see UFO phenomenon and hear strange electrical and mechanical sort of hummings and weird noises like that while they were in this camp. So eventually they got to a point where they said, you know what, we've got to record this. We've got to record some of these noises. And as far as I know, the only ones that really did get recorded were the ones that have been attributed to Sasquatch. And you'll hear they are quite strange, and we'll discuss a little bit more about them afterwards.
He's trying to talk to us. folks. It's a hard act to follow.
He sounds like he talks to others and they talk to each other.
Yeah. Right there, just see moving right through there.
So there you go. Those are the famous Sierra sounds. A few things to consider, and you might want to go ahead and re-listen to the audio after I say what I say, but you'll probably notice that there's at least two different creatures that are speaking, or vocalizing, I should say. One has a deeper voice, the other one has a higher voice, and they'll speak over each other. Now, this is not necessarily proof that these sounds are authentic, but some of the reasons that I feel like they are compelling is because as a retired crypto-linguist from the Navy, someone who's made a living off of listening to audio for the purpose of defending our nation from foreign spies, he claims, and his name is Scott Nelson, and he has made various appearances on Bigfoot documentaries and other shows that have to do with the paranormal and supernatural. Usually, he comes onto those shows because of these audios, because he has listened to them himself, and he claims that they are authentic, that especially in the 70s, they could not have been faked, that the sounds that we are hearing go way beyond the capabilities of human in the registry of vocals, the higher and lower pitches that we apparently cannot make. He also claims that if you slow down the sort of choppy chuntering of these creatures, that you can detect phonemes. Phonemes, for those who aren't familiar, are essentially what make up language. The sort of when you kind of like when you clap your hands to try and find out how many syllables there are in a word, alligator, those are made up of different phonemes, those combinations of sounds. And his claim is that you can hear that this is a language that is being spoken, a language of sorts, possibly a very primitive one, but still a kind of language. And so it's just something to kind of consider. And no one has been able to necessarily debunk these audios and say with full confidence that they are purely human. Now, for those who are listening and heard it and feel like, you know what, it kind of just sounds like a person imitating a monkey, Well, I would say it's a little bit inconvenient that that is exactly what most people believe Bigfoot to be, is some kind of hybrid between apes and humans, or some kind of at least influence from both humans and apes in whatever they are. And so if you're trying to say that, oh, it just sounds like a person or it just sounds like an ape, well, that's exactly what a Bigfoot would probably sound like. So it's a little bit tough, because if you feel like there is no authenticity to these kind of vocals, then we are all, of course, entitled to our own opinions. But the fact is that they are there, and they have been examined by people who have training in the field of understanding vocals and language, and have been claimed to be authentic. And so, those are the Sierra sounds, but there's more than just that, and I'm going to be showing some of these sounds, and of course, it's up to you to decide whether or not you find them to be authentic or not. If they are or not, it's still fun to hear them. So, let's jump into the next one. It comes to us from the Midwestern United States, and it has come to be known as the Ohio howl. You'll notice, as many others have, that it almost sounds like an air raid siren, but as you listen closely and as you listen to the end, you'll quickly realize that this is coming from some kind of being, and it has been attributed to Bigfoot. That was recorded in 1994, and like I said, the reason why it has been considered by many to be an authentic recording of a vocalization of a Sasquatch is because people who have seen these creatures and have heard how they vocalize claim that that is exactly how they will often roar or make this kind of sound, and they'll often say, yes, it does almost sound like an air raid siren. This next bit of audio, like the Sierra sounds, comes to us from California. These were recorded in 2012.
It's just right over here.
The dog's right over there. Whatever it is over there. There's a bunch of them. They're talking. They're just communicating.
Yeah, that's not a dog bark.
You can hear the dog barking amongst these howls.
The original audio goes for 10 minutes longer. Whatever these creatures are that are making these howling sounds, to me at least, don't just sound like wolves, nor do they just sound like dogs or people. When I hear those sounds, honestly, for me, the first thing that came to mind was dinosaurs. But I think that could indicate the prehistoric nature of Sasquatch. Whatever was making the noise had to have been extremely loud for, once again, amateur YouTube video taker to have caught that on audio, loud enough to be heard. And you can clearly hear, at least it sounds to me, that there are many of them, not just one thing that's making those sounds. This next audio comes to us from Oregon in 2017. Take a listen. This next audio comes from South Carolina, recorded in 1999. This next bit of audio, if authentic, is extremely impressive. It comes to us from Ontario, Canada, and was recorded in 2013. The recorder of this audio claims that he has had various interactions with Bigfoot and has found certain spots where he knows they reside. The audio that we're about to listen to is claimed by the man who recorded it to sound like a song of antiquity. Whether it's a song or not, I don't know, but it is extremely clear and does have kind of a rhythm to it. So I'll let you decide what you think. Let's hear the audio. This next bit of audio also comes to us from Canada, but this time from British Columbia in 2017. Various Native American tribes have stories about these creatures having the ability to whistle, but not just a normal whistle like we can, a strange, eerie whistle that would often hypnotize or lead people deeper into the forest. Here is an audio from Idaho in 2012 of some folks that were ATVing out in the wilderness when they all of a sudden start hearing this strange whistling. Take a listen.
I have no idea. You hear that?
These next few audios are kind of spooky. They come to us from Michigan, from back in 2013. Take a listen. Our next bit of audio comes to us from Ohio, but unlike the Ohio howl, which was recorded in the 1990s, this was recorded much more recently in 2021. Let's take a listen. This next audio is from Illinois and was recorded in 2015. It's actually a recording from a video, and this video was made by a YouTuber whose whole channel is dedicated to foraging for mushrooms. So you'll hear him describing some of the mushrooms he's looking at when all of a sudden this howl comes from the forest and he recognizes that it's definitely time to turn around. Let's have a listen.
Yeah, look how big that one is down there. It's got to be about 12 inches across. And this one looks like it has a bite out of it. And this one. And there's one over here. Looks like it's holding some water. Huh? I think it's time to go.
And with that, it's also time for me to go. I hope you enjoyed hearing those audios from Bigfoot. They won't be the last that we hear. But remember to keep an open mind and don't lose your sense of adventure.
Thanks for listening to the BLC. Be sure to subscribe and share. And it would be really awesome if you'd be willing to take just a minute to give us a review, as that helps this show out a ton.